Hi everybody, this is Derek with Lare Garden Center and Chloe's behind the camera.
Hey, hey.
And today we're going to be doing a video on hanging baskets and all the different types. But first, I know you have something cool to show.
I do. Check out, we have a string of pearls basket here, but there's a little friend hanging out in there. Isn't it cute?
Chloe wanted to share that, so I thought I would get that out of the way before we start. So, we're just going to do a little bit of a tour. If you just want to do a quick pan to show, I'm going to talk about a few different hanging baskets, but I won't try to get too generic so that you can get all the information for different seasons of whatever plants you're looking for. So we're just going to do a tour starting here. We'll walk around and we'll end with some sun baskets, but we're doing a bunch of shade baskets first. So zooming in a little closer, we have these are Boston ferns, and there's two types. This is a tiger Boston fern, and behind them, when you get to that point, the green ones, those are regular Boston ferns. And not to be confusing, but there's also a Kimberly queen fern. I'll make sure I can see some toward the end. And there's also a asparagus fern. So there's a few different types of ferns, but the main thing you need to know about these is that they are good for very low light conditions. If you have a place like on your porch underneath an overhang, a very dark area by like underneath low hanging trees, these are going to be your best friend and will be the best choice for those conditions. There's no blooms, but they really make up for it in their foliage, and they just look really nice all season long and don't require a lot of extra care, not even watering. A lot of people would think ferns need a lot of extra water, but it's not true. They just keep going. I always make a point to include a couple Boston ferns in a very dark place where it's not even bright enough to get blooms, and I always enjoy it every year. It's a staple in my garden for sure. So let's show off those other two ferns quick. Here's the Kimberly queen. It's not a lot different other than that technically it's a little more upright, but in the video you probably are like, how is that different? They just don't hang over the pot as much. That's really all. And then we also have asparagus fern, which is not technically a fern. It's a different plant entirely. Also good for shade though. So now kind of moving into some of the blooming stuff, the options for blooming hanging baskets are going to change throughout the season, but here we have some impatiens, and we'll have different mixtures and at different times and different things going on. These are just regular impatiens. We'll also have New Guinea impatiens, which look very similar, but they might be a little more compact, is how I would describe them to be different. And you can see we have multiple different colors.
Very bright and pretty.
They are. They're one of my favorites. These do good in shade to a little bit of sun. And we'll move down the line to some begonias. These are, well, I'm not really exactly sure. They're either angel wing or dragon wing. But what I like about these is that they're bigger begonias, and they're a little bit easier if you're a person that tends to skip watering a little bit more by accident for the most part. These are dragon wings, so these are begonias. What I'm trying to say is they're a little bit more forgiving, and they bloom, as you can see, really nice, and they get quite large.
Already really big.
Yes. This one's really cool. Let's kind of show those off. I wanted to see, I'm not sure what type they are. I was hoping a tag would. That's not going to show, is it? No. So I don't remember what kind these are, but they're one of my favorites just because they hang down. They're kind of related to a bonfire begonia, but that's not what they are. So I didn't see a tag in there to tell me the color, so it's kind of a mystery, but really pretty blooms. Same conditions as these, but they don't get quite as big. And then let's walk over to the other side and we'll show the other begonias from the other side. And then we'll kind of just show the different begonias because we got so many of them. This one is kind of more your standard begonia with the rose-shaped blooms. These, like the ones I showed you a bit ago, they tend to stay a little bit smaller and really need to be allowed to dry out. So just let them dry out and you should be good for those. And really nice for shade, like I said. These would brighten up a shady spot too.
For sure.
So we have so many begonias, so let's just kind of go through them a little bit faster. We already saw these ones before. Those are like the regular begonia. Here's a cool one though. It's a pretty yellow flower.
Loaded with flowers right now.
Yes, they are. Mistral yellow. I knew that's what it would be. These were kind of a little bit of a newer release. Yellow is always a really good choice for shady spots because it brightens up the area. So if it's kind of dark naturally, it's a good idea to go with a bright color instead of a dark color. And then I guess kind of to finish up begonias is these are just a regular begonia in yellow. And like I said, there's lots of different begonias. We'll typically carry Rieger begonias as well, but they're not shown here because we currently don't have any. But all begonias like shade, so no sun for any of these guys. And then we'll walk down. You can show how many begonias we have. And then we go to our little sun sampling here. Here we have the same thing. For selections of hanging baskets for sun, there tends to be a bigger selection. So you'll do your geraniums, calabacoa, petunias, bacopa. The list is never ending. Sometimes they're a mixed basket like this, has a little bit of vinca in it. Sometimes it's a single basket, like I'll grab one quick. That just has one type. And they come in a multitude of different colors, as you can see. So a couple tips I can provide for picking a nice basket would be shape. I don't know, this one really catches my eye. It's so full.
It is. Very colorful.
Make sure that there's branches coming out all around different parts so that it'll be full and hang over. So if it looks healthy, of course, these look really, really good right now. And just make sure you're picking the right basket for the condition. And the other thing, the biggest tip I could talk about with hanging baskets actually comes after you get home. And that's make sure you fertilize them once every other week with your favorite quick release fertilizer. That is detrimental to these for having them long term. And then as far as deadheading, a lot of people think they have to deadhead, but the newer varieties of annuals you don't have to do that. So just make sure you fertilize it and keep it well watered, and it will perform like a really nice, healthy plant all the way through the season. So let's go over a few of these types. We have the red geraniums, very classical. And this one's pink with a little bit of bridal wreath. No, it's not right.
Bridal's veil.
Bridal's veil, thank you very much. Bridal's veil plant. I was thinking of bridal wreaths by Ria's for some reason.
Yes.
So just a nice mixture. And we have I was looking at all the hanging baskets that we currently have, and there's so many different types, and some are close and some are not. Here's some verbena and a petunia with a purple center, and there's a little bit of calabacoa in there too. Look how full they are.
So pretty.
And then we have this mixture which has lobelia, calabacoa, and petunias. I was hoping you had something to say about this one.
I love this one.
It's nice and dark.
Yes.
So
the spotted petunias really stand out.
Usually the purple, this one doesn't. Normally the purple petunias smell nice. And this one
like
has
a little galaxy.
Yes. Is that what I wonder if that's what it is. You think it's
maybe
Midnight Sky is the name of that petunia, if you're wondering. We'll have those in regular pots during our spring season as well. And then kind of going along down the line, we have a really pretty double petunia. Those are always nice. Those, you don't have to deadhead them, but they tend to look a little bit nicer if you do deadhead them because there's so much petals there. And we also have single baskets as well. This one has bacopa in it.
We have these in multiple colors, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And all the baskets I'm going over, the last 6 or 7 have all been for full sun. And then this one, I grabbed this one on purpose because every year we put out purple wave petunia baskets out front, and a lot of people ask, what is that? How do they look so good all the way through? This is what we use. Purple wave petunia, even though it's actually pink, it's called purple wave. And we just follow that once every other week fertilizer and water all the way through, and that's just how we do it. It's the watering and the fertilizing. Those are the key things to remember. And then if you do that, they'll go all the way through. So a favorite here, also, this petunia is also what we use out in our gardens out front side of the road with those bright pink. It's the same one. Wave petunias are a really nice variety for that.
They fill in very fast.
They do, and they come in multiple colors. So I just wanted to show you a quick tour of our baskets and kind of give you a few care tips for it. So again, the selection will always be ever changing, but I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
See you next time.